Welcome students. Today I am going to discuss about time domain analysis in the second unit. In the previous sessions we have covered the basic concept of system and closed loop systems. In this we have discussed the classification of systems such as open loop and closed loop systems, the applications of open loop and closed loop systems, then the advantages and disadvantages of open loop and closed loop system. Then we started the modeling of systems, the classification of systems such as mechanical and electrical systems, then the necessity of mathematical model of system. In that we have classified the modeling as differential equation model, transfer function model and state space model. And for the mechanical translational rotational system we have developed a mathematical model of formulation of the differential equations and finally the transfer functions for each systems. Then we have seen the classification of representation of systems such as block diagram representations and signal flow graph representations. Then by using block diagram reduction rules we have found the overall transfer function of a given system. Then by using the Mason-Skine formula we have found the transfer function of a signal flow graph. Then finally we have used Mason-Skine formula for block diagram by converting the block diagram into signal flow graph, then finally finding the overall transfer function of system. In the current session I am going to introduce the time domain analysis, the response of a system, then standard test signals, and we are going to see the type and order of systems. Then we are going to derive the first order system response, then second order system response. And for a second order system response, what are the time domain specifications? Then we are going to discuss the steady state error. Finally we are going to solve some tutorial problems. First I would like to introduce what is a time domain analysis. Any system can be represented with a linear differential equation, that is we can model as a differential equation model. The solution of this linear differential equation gives the response of the system with respect to time. The representation of control system by a linear differential equation of functions of time and its solution is collectively called time domain analysis of the control system. We can define time response. If the output of a control system varies while varying the input with respect to time, it is called as time response of the system. This can be classified as transient response and steady state response. The transient response can be written as CTR and steady state response can be written as CSS. So put together we will get C of t equal to CTR plus CSS. In a control system, the presence of energy storing elements such as inductor and capacitors, the energy state of system is disturbed with respect to time. The time taken by the system for changing one energy state to another is known as transient time, and the value of voltages and currents during these periods are known as the transient response. A transient response is associated with an oscillation which may be sustained or decaying in nature. The nature of the system depends upon the parameter of the system. A steady state response is the behavior of system after a long time when steady state conditions have been reached. That is, whether the steady state meets the final desired value. This can be found when the time tends to infinity. Next, before going to start the time response of the system, we should know what is time and the order of system. So in the mathematical model, we have developed the transfer function. The transfer function can be defined as the Laplace transform of output to Laplace transform of input. That is C of S divided by R of S. This is a generalized equation for a transfer function which has numerator polynomial equation and the denominator also it has polynomial equation of nth order. So in this transfer function, in the denominator equation, that is polynomial equation, the n represent the highest power for S, which is called as order of system. So if you are given a transfer function in the denominator polynomial, you can find the order of system by using the highest power of S. So for example, in the first example, C of S divided by R of S is equal to 5 divided by 4S plus 1. So the order of system is 1. So whereas for the second case, C of S divided by R of S is equal to 10S divided by S square plus 4S plus 4. So in this, the denominator, the highest power of S is 2. So this system is a second order system. So the third case, while seeing the denominator polynomial equation, it is a fourth order system. So the power of S is 4, so it is a fourth order system. So normally in any system, the denominator term, that is denominator equation, it is a polynomial equation. This equation is also called as a characteristic equation of the system. So in general case, so when C of S divided by R of S is equal to G of S divided by 1 plus G of S H of S. So in this expression, 1 plus G of S plus 1 plus G of S into H of S, which is equal to 0. This is called the transfer function. This is called characteristic equation of the system. So from the characteristic equation, the highest power of S gives the order of system. Next, what is type of system? It is defined as the number of poles at the origin of open loop transfer function. So in the given problem, so G of S H of S is equal to this expression. So in this expression, this equation has numerator as well as denominator. So already know the highest power of S will give the order of system, whereas in this expression you can see there is a term S power C into an this polynomial equation. So here S power C, in this C is the type of system. Whereas if you want to find the order of system, you multiply this term with this polynomial equation, you will get the highest power of S will be C plus N. So this C plus N denotes the order of system. So now we take an example. So the open loop transfer function G of S H of S is equal to is given as 50 divided by S plus 1 into S plus 2. So here the origin of pole is s power 0, so the type of system is 0. This is a type 0 system. But when you multiply all the s terms, you will get s square, so it becomes a second order system. So in the second case, g of s h of s is equal to 10s square plus 3 divided by s square into 3s power 4 plus 2s cube plus s square plus 4s plus 3. So in this, the first term s square, from this you can find the type. It is a type 2 system. So whereas you multiply all the s terms, the highest power becomes s power 2 plus 4. You will get 2 plus 4, which is equal to 6. So this is a sixth order system. So how to find the poles? Normally, in the given transfer function model, the numerator polynomial equation equal to 0. That is, g of s is equal to 0. Solving for s will give the zeros of the system, zeros. Whereas the denominator terms 1 plus g of s h of s is equal to 0. Solving for s, you will get number of s1, s2 up to sn. This will give the poles of the system, poles. It will give the poles of the system. So from the numerator polynomial, finding the roots for the numerator polynomial expression, you will get the zeros of the system. Whereas in the denominator term, finding the roots for the polynomial expression, you will get the poles of the system. That is, that the roots will give the poles of the system. Normally for a system, the poles of system mainly determines the characteristics of the system. So that is why we get the characteristic equation from the denominator term. I hope you understand the concept of what is order and the type of system, then poles and zeros of a system. So next we will discuss about the standard test signals. The standard test signals are used to find the performance of the control system using the time response of the output. These signals are naturally impulse, step, ramp and parabolic. These signals are used to develop the expressions for first order and second order system responses. Suppose I want to get the output response of a system, so we have to give the inputs. So we cannot give a practical input signal. Instead, we have to give some standard test signals in order to find the performance of the system. These standard signals are impulse, step, ramp, parabolic and sinusoidal signals. So here I give a brief introduction for the various test signals and how to graphically represent the test signals, then how to mathematically represent the system time domain and S domain, then what are the practical example for these test signals. So here the first signal is unit impulse. Unit impulse is nothing but the signal will exist at 0 instance of the magnitude may be infinity or some finite infinite, but the signal will exist at a 0 instance, that is del of t equal to 0 when time not equal to 0, or this del of t will have some value, maybe even infinity, very large value for t equal to 0. So this signal exists only at the time of 0. After that, its signal vanishes very rapidly. So normally in practical systems, the signal magnitude will exist for about microsecond or nanosecond level. This signal in S domain, its value is R of S is equal to 1. So examples are lightning flash, lightning flash. This is the best example. So you can see that flash occur in a very fraction of second, after that it vanishes. Then the next signal is unit step. So here the magnitude of this signal will be constant throughout the time with respect to time. So u of t value is equal to 1 when time greater than equal to 0, or its value becomes 0 when it's at the time of starting. In S domain, its value R of S is equal to 1 by S. So the example for unit step signals are DC voltage or current. Then unit ramp. So in unit ramp signal, it is proportional to time. The magnitude increases with respect to time. So this can be written as R of t is equal to t into u of t. So it is proportional to time. R of t is proportional to time. So in S domain, R of S can be written as 1 by S square. The examples are velocity and speed of the vehicle. The next signal is parabolic signal. So parabolic signal, the magnitude of the signal will be proportional to time square. It is R of t equal to t square by 2 into u of t. In S domain, its value becomes R of S equal to 1 by S cube. The example is acceleration of any vehicle. So here also there is a table for comparison. So in this, what is the main use of this test signal? It is mainly used to find the transient response of a system. Transient response of system, then steady state error of system. So mainly it is used for these two applications. So here you can see the sinusoidal signal. We are all aware of sinusoidal signal. So where the magnitude and phase changes with respect to time. Next, we have to find out the time response of any system, given system. The system may be a first order, a second order, or higher order system. So first, the system, we need to have the transfer function model of the system. So this mathematical model is available for us. So transfer function model of any system has to be needed for finding the response of any system. Then we need to define the input. What type of input we have to give. Once we know the transfer function and the type of input, whether it is a step, ramp, or parabolic, or impulse, then we can find out the time response, how the output varies with respect to time. So the transient response depends upon the system poles only and not on the type of input. It is therefore sufficient to analyze the transient response using a step input. The steady state response depends on dynamics, system type, and input quantity. Suppose we want to study the steady state response of any system, we need to have the input, different types of input, and what type of system it is. Then system dynamics, we should know all these things. It is then examined using different test signals by using the final value theorem. In all the cases, we will be using the Laplace transform. The next topic is step response of first order system. So let us consider a first order system. This is the block diagram representation of the first order system. So in the forward path, we have the gain, forward path gain of G of S is equal to 1 by ST. In the feedback, there is its value is unity. So it is a unity feedback system. The actual output is compared with the reference input, that is step input. The input may be a step, ramp, or any standard signals. Then comparing these two we will get the error. So proportional to the error, it is the system is controlled, so then we get the output. Now what is our main objective is to find the output C of t. So first we find the closed loop transfer function by using this expression C of s divided by R of s is equal to G of s divided by 1 plus G of s H of s. So in this expression you substitute G of s is equal to 1 by st, then H of s is equal to 1. So substituting this in this expression, you will get C of s divided by R of s is equal to 1 divided by st plus 1. So the s power is 1. So this is a first order equation. So once we have the transfer function of this system, then we can assign the input. So the R of s, whether it is a step ramp, so you can assign any type of input here. So let us assume that the input is a step input. So R of s is equal to 1 by s. Substituting this R of s in this expression, so you will get C of s is equal to 1 by s into 1 by st plus 1, right? The next step is we have to find out C of t. So naturally we have to take inverse Laplace transform for this expression of C of s. So directly we cannot take the inverse Laplace transform. So what you can do, by using the partial fraction method, you split this expression into this form. So normally what we do in the partial fraction method, this can be written as some a divided by s plus b divided by st plus 1. So in this you can find out what is a and b, the coefficient a, b. So after finding a and b, substituting in this expression, you will get this, that is 1 by s minus 1 divided by s plus 1 by t. Then you take the inverse Laplace transform. So for 1 by s, the inverse Laplace transform is 1. Then for 1 by st s plus 1 by t, the inverse Laplace transform is e power minus t by t. So this is the final output, C of t equal to 1 minus e power minus t by t. So this is the basic procedure followed for each system. So the first initial step is find the transfer function, closed loop transfer function of the system. Then the next step will assign the input for R of s. So here for this case the input is assigned as step input as 1 by s. Then by using partial fraction method, you split the expression of this format. Then find the coefficient a and b, and substituting in this C of s, you will get the C of s. Then you take the inverse Laplace transform. So finally you will get the C of t. Then once you get the C of t, which is for this case C of t equal to 1 minus e power minus t by t, you can draw the transient response. So with respect to time, if you give value for different value for t, so you will get the output. So you will get a transient output. So the output increases linearly or transiently, then reaches the final steady state value, that is a desired value. Sometime it may not reach the steady state value. There may be a difference between the desired and the actual value that will that act as the error. Okay, so here this difference is the error. Okay, so this will give the error E of t. So this graph is the C of t. So here suppose I want to get what is the error. So you can find out the error by using this expression E of t equal to R of t minus E of t. That is the reference input minus the actual output. This will give the error. And I want to get the steady state error. So the expression for steady state error is limit t tends to infinity E of t, or in the S domain, this can be found by using this expression limit s tends to 0 s into E of s. So substituting this error expression here, you will get, so R of t is 1, that is we have assigned this is a step input, R of s is equal to 1 by s, and in the time domain its value is 1, minus C of t is we have found as 1 minus e power minus t by t. So substitute in this expression, you will get e power minus t by t. So when time tends to infinity, substitute in this expression, you will get 0. So the steady state error becomes 0. So finally it may reach the 0. Initially the error is maximum, then it decays and finally reaches the steady state. So once the output reaches the final steady state value, the error become 0. Or in some system there may be a steady state error also. So yeah, the error may not become 0 in that case. Okay, this is the response of a first order system. Okay. Next, we can follow the same procedure to find out the time response of a first order system with a RAM input. So RAM input. So in this case, we take the same block diagram and we have used the same closed loop transfer function as C of s divided by R of s equal to 1 by st plus 1, and only change here is the type of input. So I have taken the RAM input. So R of s now becomes 1 by s square. So R of s is equal to 1 by s square. Assigning in this, so we will get C of s is equal to 1 by s square into 1 by st plus 1. Then you can simplify or rearrange this expression in such a way that you can easily take the inverse Laplace transform. This is one method. The other method is by using the partial fraction method. So partial fraction. So in this method, you can split this as some a by s square plus b by s plus some c divided by st plus 1. Then you find the coefficient a, b, c, and substituting in this expression, you will get this expression. Okay. Then once we know all the time constants, we can find out we can easily take the inverse Laplace transform for this. Inverse Laplace transform of 1 by s square is t. For t by s it is t. So because 1 by s its value equal to 1, then by t divided by s plus 1 by t, you will get t. Inverse Laplace transform of 1 by s plus 1 by t equal to e power minus t divided by t. So this is the expression of time response for the first order system with the RAM input. So we can draw the graph for this with respect to time. You can find the C of t. So we'll get a transient output. So the red line indicate the output, whereas this black line indicate the reference input. So the difference, there is this much difference, which is equal to ESS equal to t. So this can be found by using this expression, error equal to R of t minus C of t. So substituting R of t and C of t, you will get this expression. Then when time tends to infinity, you will get the steady state error, which is equal to t. So in both the cases, that is time response of first order system with the step RAM input, we have followed the same procedure. This procedure will be followed for the other system also, that is second order or higher order system also. So in all the cases, first step is you find the closed loop transfer function, then what type of input you are giving, then find the C of S, then take inverse Laplace transform for C of S in order to get C of t. Once you find the C of t, draw the response curve. Suppose you want to get the error by using this expression E of t equal to R of t minus E of t, you can find out the E of t. Then by using the steady state error formula, limit t tends to infinity E of t, you can find out the steady state error of the system also. In the same way, we can find out the time response of a first order system for impulse input. So in the impulse input, R of S value equal to 1. Substitute R of S equal to 1. It is very simple. So substituting in this, you will get C of S is equal to 1 by t into 1 divided by S plus 1 by t. So taking inverse Laplace transform, you will get 1 by t into e power minus t divided by t. So you can draw the response curve, which is exponentially decaying. So initially you will get the magnitude, high magnitude. After that it decays and finally it reaches to 0 value. So with this I conclude the session, and I would like to recall what are the topics we covered in this session. So first we have defined what is the time domain analysis, then what is time response of a system, what is transient and steady state response of a system. Then we have discussed about time and type and order of system. Then we have discussed about the various test signals. Then finally we have derived the time response of a first order system with a step, ramp and impulse system. And you can follow the same procedure to find out the time response of a first order system for parabolic and sinusoidal also. So with this we can conclude the system. Thank you.